All right, ladies and gentlemen, the first ever ACRL iRacing League. This is Miata Madness. We're here at Okayama. This is coming towards the end of practice now. Going to be a 10-minute qualifying session after this. 2 laps for every driver. Pretty standard for the series. And then that's followed by a 20-minute race. Our second feature race tonight is the same format. It's going to be a 10-minute qualifying, 2 laps, followed by another 20-minute race. Throughout the season, we're kind of testing different formats, which is obviously our first foray into iRacing. So this week we have the 2 20-minute races. Next week we have a 15-minute qualifying race, followed by a 35-minute feature race. And next week we are at the Charlotte Roval, which will be chock full of excitement, I'm sure. But this is a little bit new for us. There's going to be some stumbles. There's some new features that we're working on. And there's some pretty big changes to the way that we historically have done things in ACRL. And that's just because of the new sim here. So some of the things to look forward to tonight. First of all, my lousy broadcasting. I'm trying to make this a little bit more official than I have historically, much to the chagrin of some of you, I'm sure. You can see this beautiful overlay that the wonderful Sarayan put together. Despite not being a mod, he's still doing God's work and helping us out because we're not so good at this stuff. So he's helping us out a lot with this. We also have 2 live stewards this evening. We're going to be moving away from the traditional, Assetto Corsa way of doing things where you have to submit your incidents following the race and then the stewards take, 2 weeks to look at it and get it through. iRacing gives us the benefit of live replays where we can immediately go back and watch what's happening. So we have 2 live stewards this evening. They're going to be keeping an eye on the race, keeping an eye on the action. If they see anything they don't like, they're gonna throw the flags. I'm seeing a few issues still with my stream here. I'm getting like a weird double view on the left side. So we're gonna be right back. We still have about 10 minutes left in practice. We're gonna try to get some of this stuff figured out here, and we will be back shortly after that. Stay tuned. I think we got it to some degree here. We'll roll with it like this for now. This is kind of a new issue for me. I've never seen my OBS do this. I suspect it has to do with that I normally am streaming with triples, and now we're doing single monitor for this. So we'll figure that one out as we go. There's going to be a lot of hiccups with this. Obviously, this is all some new tech, and we're working some things out, but we'll get there. So, looking at the drivers list on the left side in the standings, we see a familiar face at the top, an old friend who left us many moons ago, Tomas Tatella. I guess we can call him a professional esports athlete at this point. I think he's on some pretty serious teams and actually maybe won a little bit of money. So he showed up with his black, world class license, just to kind of show everyone what he's got, I guess. So he's currently, let's try this. Let's see how this works in practice. You see Tomas at the top, 144.269 around Okayama. It's a pretty technical track. There's quite a few hairpin turns, quite a few slow corners, heavy braking zones. Should make for some interesting racing tonight. And Tomas is followed by only 2/10 by Tom Basley, which is very impressive, and Sam Jordan is right behind him. So the nice thing about the Miata is, even a guy like Tomas, who is, 7,000 iRating, still pretty tough to run away. 2/10 is a decent amount, but I bet Tom Basley's going to give him a run for his money with some of these other guys. Going down the list, some familiar names. This league for the first go around here is the boundaries are still screwed up. I don't understand why. I'm not sure why that's happening, to be honest, because my it looks to be correct on my monitor, or on my boundaries in OBS. So I'm not entirely sure why it's doing that. Someone with some OBS know-how, they could hit me up and let me know how to fix that, because I'm not entirely sure. But for the first part of the season here, we are only keeping this open to current members of ACRL. We're not opening it up to the general iRacing public. We wanted to kind of have this first foray be just the ACRL gang. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know, guys. I don't know what's up with this boundary thing. It's kind of annoying me greatly. I think I got it. Maybe. I think we got it, boys. I'm pretty sure I just fixed it. Insert Hackerman meme here. But yeah, I couldn't. It was doing weird things. But Tomas at the top. 3 minutes left in practice. This is about where we're at. Following this race, there is 20-minute practice for the next one. It gives everyone a chance to kind of switch over, get everything moving. Yeah, now I have everyone telling me how to do it. That's fine. Literally, I have like 20 Discord messages at this time. Everyone telling me how to fix OBS. And Ren's sending me memes, which is par for the course. We also do have live replays on broadcast. It's something cool Saran built into this, so we can go back and kind of see some chaos when it happens. Inevitably, and it will with a track like this, especially in these cars. Some of it's a little funny, but we're working through that. Again, this is all kind of new stuff for us. 2 minutes to go. Tomas at the top. I think Tom Basley actually. No, it's about the same. There hasn't been any new times. Rune kind of lagging back a ways. It's a little odd to see Rune about almost a second off Tomas. Everyone knows that used to be a pretty big rivalry in ACRL between those two, especially in some WEC series and some GT3 ones. All right, sorry about that. I had to step away for a minute. Yeah, practice coming to an end here. Let's do a. Let's see if we can find someone to do an onboard with. No, this is a pretty nice skin. Let's try to find a good shot of it here. For those of you that don't know, the Carl Simsport. This is actually the Carl Snail Sport, I believe. It is. This is the livery we ran at the 24 Hours of Nords. Where no big deal, we won in the Miata. Incredibly boring race, 10-minute laps, and 2 hours for one stint on a fuel tank. Not a great time. But we're going to hop on here with... let's find someone here. Rune. Alright, Sam. Let's get in the cockpit. Let's follow this lap. Pretty early on in there. Especially early going, this is going to be extremely interesting to see how the field handles some of these corners. You can brake extremely late on this car, and you want to get on the power very early, as you see Sam doing here. Oh, Sam actually jumped Tomas. Wow. Watch out. To be fair, Sam's no slouch. He's almost 5K iRating as well. There's a few of these guys in here. And everyone's just gunning for Tomas. So it's going to be fun to watch how this plays out. Especially in some of the future events that we have going where things are just going to... What is that? Dude, first of all, don't hate on my FOV. It's not my fault that, you know, I'm usually in triples, alright? It doesn't look like that normally, I swear. But we are switching over to Q. This is going to be a little weird due to the fact that we're not running a open qualifying session, so everyone pretty much is just going to go out, do 2 laps, and away we go. A who's who? I'm not sure. Well, I don't know how much some people want to be doxxed, to be honest. I know most of these people, but there's actually a few here that I'm not entirely sure who they are from ACRL. I know that they are a part of it because they got to the website, but there's quite a few people. I mean, I can... Now we won't do that. we won't do that. We're just going to kind of let it ride. If they want to tell you, they'll tell you in Discord. I think that's the fairest way to do it. Now, unfortunately, let's see if we can't... I don't know why. I think I do know why this is happening. And I was actually having this conversation with our stewards before we went live, but there wasn't enough time to figure it out. I'm fairly sure that I joined and our stewards joined the session as drivers rather than spectators. So this makes things a little bit awkward because I'm pretty sure that as it stands right now, I cannot spectate anyone doing qualifying. I think that's what's happening here. Yeah, we are in quali. Yeah. I believe that's what's going on. So we'll see if the standings actually update with times or not. I thought some of you guys, Fritz, some of you guys that actually do iRacing here, I thought you could spectate other people during quali. No? Or am I crazy? Yeah. How about that ride in, guys? Yeah, this was a little bit of an oversight. But again, we should see some people coming across now here shortly. Maybe we can even bring out this fancy timing screen here so you guys can see what I see, because there's not much happening on track there. So we can, you know, look at everyone's iRating and point and laugh at some people. Or just look at Tomas here, just flexing on everyone with the black WC license. They don't just give those out, guys, all right? I'm really surprised we haven't seen a single time come across here. I'm almost a little bit concerned. Yeah, Ren's confirmed. I don't. I could have sworn you could watch other people during qualifying, but I might be totally wrong about that. I also don't know why the resolution is so low, guys, because I see that on stream now. Maybe we can take this time in quali here, since there's not much happening, to try to rectify that. I assume it has something to do with YouTube, which I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to change midway through here. In fact, I would almost guarantee I can't. 7K iRating and you're... Jonas, what series was that? Was that that couldn't have been the Miata. That had to be like, what, the Cadillacs? Oh yeah, that's true. The Atlaps are long. Oh, we got Tom Basley up in the front. Not really any surprises there right now. Although we haven't seen Tomas come across yet, so we'll wait with bated breath on that and see. Your res is okay. Seriously, you can see like everything up, Fritz, because on my, when I look at the stream on mine, it looks like pretty fuzzy. But everything else, like OBS, looks good. Like everything else looks good. Well, I'm surprised there was someone with 7K, just beating up on people. Tom Basley's still at the top. We have not seen Tomas come across the line yet. Who else do we have? Oh, this is... Doesn't appear that the timing screen is working in ATVO for this either. Okay, that's good. It looks fine. Yeah, 4 minutes to go. We should start seeing the rest of the field come across now. I'm a little bit surprised that we still have about half that have not qualified yet. Oh, there's another one. That was Seam. Okay. I mean, hey, if you guys are telling me it looks good, it looks good. I'm all for it. Tom's still at the top. This is like radio at this point. We will see what happens turn one. Okayama has a pretty quick turn one. It's pretty wide. It's been a little while since I actually drove this track, but as I recall, it's a pretty wide one, and then it kind of, we go through some S's that are going to be fun. Then it's going through that back, before the back straight, there's that long sweeping right-hander going uphill. That's going to be probably a prime spot to make or break early part of the race. Really important to get a good exit out of there, because that straight, especially in these cars, is long as hell. So we'll see. It should be an interesting race. It should be fun. A lot of learning. I wonder if Tomas is doing like a last to first thing here. Oh, no, there he is. With a 144.158. So no surprises. Pretty quick there. Yeah, Tom Basley about 2/10 off. Yeah, I kind of think we want to change the way that works. We have Rune down there in fourth behind Michael Kundak Siog. Oh boy, that's a hell of a name. I'm not sure. Kundak Siog. Yeah, we're just gonna call him Michael. Isn't enough anime in this? No, it's okay. We don't do that. Nils is too busy chatting in stream, I guess, to put down a qualifying time, which is pretty interesting. So we got Nils and Spencer Kemble are the only two that have not qualified. Obviously, I'm on there because I joined as a driver in Renz, who is one of our stewards for this league. There is another one, but I don't see him in the session, which is odd, unless he figured out a way around, which he might have, around the joining as a driver thing. So we'll see if that works. Again, guys, there's a Assetto Corsa. We have it down to a science at this point. How to run it, it pretty much runs itself. So jumping to a whole new sim for this series and trying to figure this out, it's kind of building everything from the ground up. So we have a lot to still sort through, but we're getting there. Nils is not going to queue, going to be at the bottom anyway. That's a loser's attitude right there. Let me tell you, Nah, Renz, we won't get gridded because we have to hit that we would go to the grid. Yeah. We're just going to sit in the pits off the start. This isn't like a AC where we have to escape the pits. So we're going to be okay. 50 seconds left in qualifying. Hopefully for the next race we can figure out a way to join as like an admin, or so that we can actually watch people qualify instead of just me banting by myself like this is radio, because it kind of stinks. There are some turns that aren't to the left. I don't care. Yeah, maybe at some point we'd have like a ACRL, like a rookie oval series with just like the free oval content. That might be a good time. Maybe some trucks. I don't know. Could be fun. There's a lot that we can do with this outside of just your traditional road racing. But for this series, this is again a 6-round series. This is Okayama. This race is supposed to be late afternoon. It looks a little bit darker than late afternoon at this point, but the next race will be closer to sunset. We might actually see some night racing towards the end of that. And we are gridding over at this point. So we should have some cars hitting the grid, I believe. Maybe. Yep. So we do. So we'll show you your starting grid. We have Tomas on pole with a 144, 158. Impressive stuff. Not really a shock there. Tom Basley in second with a 144, 389. He's right on. I mean, it's really close with these guys. Michael Kundak-Sioglu in third. Rune Janssens in fourth. Sam Jordan fifth. Seam Log 144. He's in sixth. Ryan Wilson, affectionately known as Super Yams, 145 flat. Jeffrey Arroyan 145-1. So the top 8 pretty close. Pasi Malonen, Timu Polki, which is Teme 145. That's a top 10 right there. And then we have the rest of the grid running 45s, it looks like. So pretty close. It should be interesting today. We have some people in the back there that just decided they didn't want to. Oh, Tomas hasn't pitted. Okay. Now there he is. So it looks like we have just about everyone on grid. I'm not sure entirely what's going to be the best way to go about watching this off the start. I don't know if there's any static cameras. We could do like a blimp view up here, which might be our best bet, I think. Again, guys, this is all new. We're just we're figuring this out as we go, but we should have the lights coming on here very shortly. I hear the cars starting, engines revving, and they are away. So we got Tomas getting off pretty fast there. Tom Basley right behind him. He's going to hold that inside line. There's a lot of jockeying for position right now. Tomas way out in front there. Let's just check in with the rest of the field. Everything looks relatively clean. Let's check with our blimp cam. Pretty clean off the start here. Uh-oh. I think that's Pasi Malonen, I believe. You know what? Well, actually, I think he crashed. I'm not entirely sure. We will actually, we'll go back and we'll test our slick replay function and see if we can't see what's going on there. But up at the front, we see Tomas getting away, but Tom is not letting him go. He's staying right with him. And Rune is right behind Michael with Sam right behind him. We could see maybe a potential send here from Rune. He looks like he's maybe setting it up. Maybe setting that up. Let's get down with the TV cams. He's on the inside. I don't know if he's going to be able to get his nose in there. It does not look like he is. And he's going to be compromised on exit with Sam right behind him now. Very close. Going for the outside, working it, not going to happen. He's getting squeezed. Quite a few cars going wide there. They're pushing pretty hard to stay with one another. These are very close. These cars actually are very good with drafting. It's definitely beneficial to get right on the car in front of you on the straights. On some of the really long straights, I wouldn't be all that surprised if we actually see some bump drafting later in the season, which could be wildly interesting. Our live stewards, I haven't seen anything from them yet, so I believe we're okay. Let's check in with the back and see how we're doing back here. I'll hop on a blimp cam. Ooh, there's a send. There is a send. Trying to see if there's anything happening mid-race. I could check my event log. It looks like we're settled. Oh, Tomas. Where have we seen this before, guys? Tomas just driving away from the rest of the field right now. He looks like he's opened that gap up to Tom quite a bit. 1 second in the first lap of the race, which is quite a while. Rune seems to be keeping up with Michael, but he fell back a little bit trying to make that stick through those turns, and Sam right behind him. I just heard something. I heard crashing. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not sure what happened to Stewart here. If that was maybe an issue. We actually will try and see if we can make the live replays work. Nils had an... Oh, that's... Hang on. Stand by. Stand by. We don't want practice. We want race. Here we go. It doesn't look like we had any major incidents, but let's check out. Let's see what happened to Passy Mellon in here. This should have been... Oh, that's not him. And we're back to the start now. It's not. That's not. It looks slick, doesn't it? But I'm not entirely sure what happened there. It should have jumped right to him, but alas, it didn't. We see Passy, he's hanging in there. So up at the front, Tomas. Still driving away, extending that lead. Didn't really open that much that lap. Maybe a tenth. It seems like Tom's kind of settled in now, and he's starting to keep up with him. Let's hop on board with Tom and see. And watch this this chase. Ooh, Tomas, look at that. Car getting sideways, doing a little bit of a drift through there. And you can see these guys, they really use every part of the track that they can. It's going to be hard-pressed. Tom's really going to have to try to catch up and try to get into the slipstream of Tomas, I think, if he wants a chance to try to catch up with him. It's definitely not going to be an easy thing to do. But these guys are very close still. And even behind Tom with Michael, that's very, very close. Let's just check in and let's see what's happening in the middle of the field. We'll check in with Timmer and see in that obnoxious. That's the only way I can describe it. It's just, it's so purple and the red just clashes so horribly on it. It's very upsetting to me. I also see a little bit of damage to the rear of his car there. It looks like maybe he might have gotten run into at one point or another. He's working on Jeffrey here. I'm not entirely sure when that would have happened. Oh, and I think we just saw maybe a move happening back here. Jan Hudak defending in his Minions livery. He also has some damage to the rear of his car. So I'm not entirely sure. I don't see any major incidents in my event log. I'm not saying that is the tell-all be-all of everything happening, but I think it's usually pretty close. Let's hop on with Jan here and let's see if he can make it happen on Matt Taylor. I don't think he's going to be far enough to make that send. Wisely backing off, nice and easy. We'll do the gyro so people don't make fun of my field of view on single monitor. And he's going to be sitting right behind him in that draft. If he can get a good exit off this next corner down that back straight, I would reckon that he's going to be able to slipstream by. Just focus on that exit. Ooh. I'm not sure that that's going to work, but let's see. Oh, now he has someone. Who is that behind? Is that Henrik Lala? Henrik Lala with a very cool McLaren F1 livery. I like that quite a bit. Oh, can we see a potential 3 wide? No. Just not quite able to make it stick through there. Everyone seems to be wanting to pass through that section of the track, and they can't seem to make it happen. Meanwhile, at the front, Tom Basley is closing that gap to Tomas. We're down under a second at this point. If you recall, it was about 1.2 seconds earlier in the race. Tom's still probably just a little bit out of the slipstream of Tomas. Uh-oh. Oh, okay. Never. I thought he lost that. Whew. But you can see these top 5. These guys are very close. Rune running extremely wide there. Wildly. Yeah, these top 5 are they're very close. It's been about this distance the entire race here. But they seem, well, we'll have to check in. I'm not sure. Then the gap to 6th place is seem Luke back here, and he's got Ryan Wilson right behind him. So there's quite a bit happening on track. I think most of the action is probably going to be in your midfield here. We're on board with or watching Hugh Messenger from the blimp. We'll get on with him. Let's see what's going on down here. Ooh, did I see a send behind? We have Derek Hartley working on Nils. Nils not sporting a green car. I'm not sure what's going on here. It's a little bit weird that he's in a red car. We'll hop on with Dirk and see if he can't do something. Oh, showing it to him. Braking very late, very late. That could be a wide exit. Nils, I think, went for the over-under, but I think Dirk's got him. I don't know. I like Nils' exit there a lot more. Well, this is good stuff. Still too wide. Oh, Dirk, I think a little bit too late, and Nils holds on. Beautiful move, well played. Dirk's still trying to hold on to that inside line. He just can't quite get it. I think Nils is going to have a better exit there. He does. And they're going to be coming down the front stretch here. But some pretty good stuff out of these guys. These cars do lend you to racing pretty tight with one another. Now, Dirk is actually losing ground to Nicholas Nisibaka behind him, who's going to definitely have quite a slipstream. These 4 drivers back here are all very close, and Posse Melanin is behind all of them. So let's see if we can't see. Is Dirk going to go for it again from back here? It looks like he's sending it. Yeah, Dirk and Nils, again, they're going too wide. Let's see if we can watch what's happening there. And something happened to Tomas. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Tomas with damage. With major damage. Alright, stand by. We're going to have to... I really would like to know what just happened there. Jan Hudak, Tomas with an incident of 1x. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's the instant replay. Thank you. I want to go back to that moment. There it is. Yeah, we still have some bugaboos to work out with our software here, but we'll figure it out. So Tomas, it looks like it was a 1x, so I think it might have been a self-famos from our world-class driver with his Black Star Racing. Let's see. We saw him getting a little, we saw him getting a little bit loose going into that corner and drifting it a bit. Oh, he held on. Oh, no, it snapped back, and he's rip. Oh, no, and Mike's rip. That's a big crash. That's a big crash. So our top 3 are out. I have to assume they're out. I don't think there's any getting back from that. And we'll get back on board with Rune here, who's now leading the race. That is unbelievably unfortunate. And really, it was no fault. I mean, Tomas just made a simple mistake, got a little bit wide, caught some of the grass, and the car just went on him. And then while he's trying to save it, just came back on track and just collected Tom and Michael. Extremely unfortunate for those two who were running 1, 2, 3, and I would say that we're probably going to hold those positions for the remainder of the race. But their loss is Rune's gain. And we also see Sam Jordan right behind him. Some might say this is some kind of collusion, seeing as how Rune and Sam help run this league alongside myself. I'm just the guy that doesn't get to race. But these two are now battling for 1-2, and they have Seam Lug behind them. Now I know who Seam is, but again, I'm not sure that he wants to be doxxed, so we'll just leave that alone. And we also see Super Yam right behind them. He clawed his way up to 4th. So up at the front, though, this suddenly just became much more interesting than Tomas driving away with this. Sam, very close. I also want to keep an eye on that battle that we were watching with Dirk and Nils. Let's quickly check in. We see Dirk he's gotten by Nils. Oh no, who's that? Will Eatwell. What happened? What happened to Will? Stand by. I'm not entirely sure. I don't even see. Oh no. We did things. I have that he went into the pits. Oh, there we go. Yeah, just taking the grass and paying for it. That will definitely happen. We see the grass is taking down a lot of people today. Checking back in with Rune. And guys, you can't tell me when the replay thing works, it works. But it's not easy to make it work. But when it does, oh boy, it does. Let's see if Sam can do this here. These two have absolutely driven away from everyone else. And we see, I gotta look away. Nico Bassoon putting the moves on Dirk, I believe. Let's see if we can see these two guys heading down the back stretch, neck and neck. Dirk's been too wide non-stop this entire race. Nico's got the desired inside line. Boy, he sent that really hard. Dirk wisely hits him with the over-under. Very nice move, but they're still going to be... Oh, nope. Yeah, Nico just had a little too much on that going in and really wanted to catch Dirk out in that braking zone and just couldn't quite make that stick. Well played by Dirk, and he is now in 9th place, Nico holding 10th. Let's see if Sam can do it. Let's all hope for Sam here. We got 5 minutes left in this race. Sam is a half second back from Rune, firmly in his slipstream at this point. This is right where he wants to be after that disastrous crash by Tomas that took out 2nd and 3rd place Tom and Michael. Extremely unlucky for the two of them. And unfortunate for Tomas as well. It was looking like a sure thing that he was going to hold on to that lead and win this. But this now gives... Oh, here we go. Sam trying to work the outside. Going to hit the over-under. We're seeing a lot of drivers try to do this, try to force the guy on the inside to break a little bit deeper than they want. Rune is going to be hard-pressed to make those mistakes. But we'll see them now. We're going to be in a drag race down that back straight where we're seeing a lot. I think Sam, he might actually get alongside. And we see behind them Seam is catching up quickly. Rune holding that inside line wisely. Ooh, giving each other plenty of space. I would almost argue too much space. Sam at the inside. Oh, Rune did a nice job, really kind of pressing down. Didn't give him a lot of room on exit to stretch his legs there. But Sam's going to be right in this still. I see tire drop off in chat. In these. I mean, it's for a 12-lap race. It's not going to be noticeable. Again, just for reference, I was on a team that did the Miatas at Nords for the 24-hour, and one stint for us was 2 hours. And by the end of it, the tires were still kind of I mean, they weren't great, but they weren't, you know, enough to really impact the race and make huge mistakes. So it shouldn't be that big of an issue right now. And Sam, let's see. The field's really spread itself out now. We still see, just looking on the side, Nils Shepard is in, what seems to be a pretty good battle here. We'll keep a very close eye on the top. Nils has a little bit of damage to his car. He's chasing down Nicholas and Matt Taylor right behind him, and he's going to probably try to see if he can do something right here. I would not be surprised at all if we see Matt send this on the inside of Nils down the front straight here. Oh, everyone's being very cautious to give lots of room. This is, dare I say, uncharacteristic for an ACRL series, especially in cars that are a little bit slower and encourage closer racing. This has been unusually well behaved. Sam trying. He's going to have to get alongside Rune, I think, before the braking zone. Rune's typically pretty consistent with his braking point, and you're not going to have a lot of room left to send that on him and get up on the inside. But this is a very close race at the front. And again, the only reason that we even see this being close is because of the unfortunate accident where Tomas collected Tom and Michael. And they, I believe, are back out on track. They're not. Yeah, all three cars are toast. There's also a few other cars. We see that's Will's car in there is seeing trouble. I don't know what happened to Geary. Geary's car is destroyed. So we will, at the end of this race, with 2 minutes left, we'll go back through some of these events and try to see if we can see where that happened with Geary. I mean, we know about the other ones. And coming soon to iRacing too, we have the new damage model coming, which is going to be fun. So, you know, when you crash bits of the car all over the track, tires rolling, and if you're running over those bits of debris, they can give you flats. So it's definitely going to add a new dynamic to sim racing in general that we have not had the pleasure of seeing yet. So we're all looking forward to that. Meanwhile, Sam trying hard to force Rune into an error. I think I would much rather see Sam try to just stay behind him into that corner, get a good exit, because I think his best bet is going to be the upcoming braking zone. And we see in the back there, Seam is actually catching up. I don't think there's going to be enough time in the race for him to fully catch up to this battle at the top. But he's done a nice job holding on to third. That's going to be a podium for him, barring any major self-vamos. Yeah, no one can hide their mistakes here. This is, speaking of mistakes, Rune running extremely wide. Maybe feeling the pressure that Sam's putting on now. And Sam is, honestly, he's their pace is right there. They are right next to each other. Last lap, Sam was actually a tenth faster, and his best lap is 0.3 faster. So kind of some interesting stuff. It's arguable, I would say, that Sam probably has a bit more pace than Rune here. He just can't quite find a way past, and that's a credit to Rune's clever defensive driving. Really does a nice job holding the inside. Won't give anyone an inch, and is not just gonna kind of let someone go up the inside. It's also important to note Rune has 11 incidents this race, and I believe that 17 is the cut. I don't think that was by design. I'm pretty sure we said we weren't gonna have a 17X and out, but I just forgot to do it when I set the server up. So, for the purposes of this race, 17's it. But in the future, and next race it will be too, because I already set that up. But in the future, it won't be. We decided that we're kind of going to let the guys race. We'll let our stewards kind of sort out if we think someone's really, taking the piss with the white lines and they're going way off track for, their own gain. And that's what we have them for. But we have a white flag thrown. So this is it. This is the final lap. Let's hop on board with Sam. Let's see if he can't find a way past. I think he's far too way. He's not going to be able to do it from there. It's too far back. I'm not even sure that Sam is going to try at this point. Rune really did a nice job, though, holding that inside, not giving him anything. You can see Sam, he's backing off. He's conceding this one. So let's just quickly check in with the rest of the field. Matt Taylor, what's going on? He is pitting. He's putting new tires on for that last lap. It's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him. Oh, who's that? Derek and Nico. Look at this. Nico has been just a thorn in his side this entire race. Dirk trying for the over-under, but absolutely got torched by Nico there. Very nice move. On the last lap coming through, and that is... Oh, they're still going to both be in the top 10, which is good. Oh, no! Oh, no! Nico! Oh, no, don't do that. Very unfortunate for him, because he had him. He absolutely had him, and here comes Nils. He smells blood in the water in his red car. He's got some damage to the front of his car, too. I think his car is, his alignment looks to be very, very screwed up. But at the front, Rune won. We got Seam in the Carl Snell Sport. There's quite a few of those. He's doing donuts for his podium win. Gets in there, Waffle. He's hitting everyone when he does them. But Rune with the first place, and we'll get the rest of the field across before we throw the official grid, because we still have some battles. Henrik Lala with quite a bit of damage to his car. We're going to have, I think, a couple incidents to look at after this. Or these guys might have actually, they probably have already crossed the line. And we see Stewart being chased down by Spencer here. And this is fourth position still. These guys are still battling it out here. Let's hop on board with Spencer. Let's see, because they're coming through the back portion of the track. Very safe. Spencer giving him lots of room. And I believe that Stewart is going to hold on to this. And yeah, that's he will. So Stewart holds on. I'm not sure. The positions seem a little bit off to me. I'm trying to see. Yeah, I'm not sure. The timing seems a little funny. Because, we can address that later. But. So, following race 1. Your race results. Rune Janssens with the dub. The timing on the right appears to be their fastest lap. So again, it just goes to show that I think Sam had more pace. Sam's a little bit quicker than Rune here. Was not quite able to get past him, but nonetheless, second, not a bad start here. We obviously will see Tomas, Tom, and Michael back in it at the next race. And then in third, rounding out the podium, Seam Lug. So well done by him. And then going down the rest of the field, you see your top 10 ending with the battle between Dirk and Nico. Unfortunately, Nico losing it right at the end there, but remaining in 12th place. And then we see the rest of the field here with Tomas, Tom, and Michael in 19, 20, 21. Extremely unfortunate, especially given their pace. So, it will be an interesting race too. We have another practice session. It's about 20 minutes long. It should already be up, followed by another 10-minute quali and then another race. So while that's going, let's try to see if we can. I mean, this is as good a time as any to try to figure out some of these incidents here, right? So let's take a look at Jan Hudak. Had a 4X early on here. Not entirely sure what happened. Oh, he's very close. He had a 4X, so I'm not sure if he was the one that hit or if someone hit him. But I believe the car in front of him was Matt Taylor. I'm fairly sure. And Jan suddenly has like some damage to the back of his car. So I'm not entirely sure. I have a feeling this was like some contact in a braking zone. It might have been a netcode issue. Oh, that is very close. Let's see what else we got here. Geary. He had a 2X, which we know is a loss of control. So let's see what happened to Geary here. Looks like he was trying to stay in the slipstream, heavy braking, and his car was wrecked. Could it be the same corner as Tomas? Mm. I gotta be honest. I don't know about this event log. This seems to be a little inconsistent at best. We might need to. Let me just see. If I hit instant replay, what happens then? Yeah, we're gonna have to work this one out. We'll figure. We'll find out what's going on. They are definitely. It's a little bit odd to me though, because sometimes it works. There is another quali for the next race. Yes. Trying to see if there's any other good incidents. Seem. I don't know why. We're not even getting the... There's the overlay. Oh, I think I see. Nah, I don't. Yeah. So I'm going to throw up the thing. We're going to take a 5-minute breather. And then we're going to be into the next session. That's going to be starting shortly here. So stay tuned. More racing to come. We'll see if Tomas and those guys can win the next one. I'm sure they can. Stay tuned. Alright, welcome back. So we are wrapping up the practice session here. Just was kind of intended just to give everyone a chance to kind of go take a breather quick, get a drink of water, bio, do whatever you needed to do. I probably should have used that time to try to figure out the events issues that we're having, but that's alright. That's something we can work on going into the next race at Charlotte, because that's going to be interesting going around the Roval in these cars, but we're looking forward to that. So this next race, the exact same format. We're wrapping up practice here in 3 minutes, and then we're going into a 10-minute qualifying session. I joined this session as a spectator, so I believe that I should be able to watch qualifying, which is a big deal. So we'll see how that works. Hopefully we have that sorted. I know our live stewards were busy last race. We missed a couple incidents here and there. So we're going to have to figure out a way, because I actually don't see... I know that they kind of type in chat that they are evaluating and looking at incidents. So it's a little bit tough for them to keep up, and it's a little bit impossible right now for me to see them type to the drivers in-game, what incidents are being looked at. So we missed a few penalties. I think there was at least a stop and go last race for somebody. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that. And again, this is all stuff that we're gonna kind of work through how to communicate between the different groups that are running this. There's definitely a lot happening at this point. So yeah, we'll see. This is definitely interesting. But the first race was not without drama. Obviously, Tomas lost the car on some grass. Collected Tom Basley and Mike. Hang on. Now he typed it. How to say my name. Or how to say his name. How to say my name. It is Kundak C. Oglu. So there you go. But he got collected in that also. We saw that he had some pretty killer pace. Right up there with Tom and Tomas. So we'll see. This again, we're just resetting everything. Going right back into quali here in a minute. So these guys are all going to have to qualify once again. And then we're going to go from there. I would expect to see probably a similar lineup of drivers going into this next race here, with Tomas at the top, followed by Tom. I think either Tom or Tomas are probably interchangeable with pole. I think their pace is that close. Tomas maybe with a little bit of the edge. And then Michael not far behind them. So it's going to be hopefully another interesting race, chock full of entertainment. As you can see, it's probably about the same time that the last race ended, despite it being a new session. So I would expect that towards the end of this race, it's going to be dark. These guys are going to be depending on headlights. We might see some flashing at each other, which is always entertaining to me, and we will see how it goes from there. But practice coming to an end. Tomas at the top. Nothing really to write home about right now. Quite a few drivers did not even bother to do laps, and we should see this switching over to quali, and we're all going to cross our fingers really quick and hope that I can spectate that. I got to tell you, I'm feeling good about it. Oh yeah, I hear things. All right. Wait a minute. Did it? Oh yeah, okay. I thought I screwed up the thing. So we have everyone kind of going out. I thought I accidentally made it an open qualifying session, which would have been a disaster. I heard quite a few more engines than one, but so here we go. These guys are they're all going out for their out laps right now. We'll hop on board with Seam. Just getting started. Let's just follow a full lap here around this track. Seam got third place last race, rocking the iconic Carl Snail Sport car. Absolutely legendary. And you can see it's already pretty dark here around the track. The sun has officially, I would say, set at this point, so the temperatures are going to start to cool off. So theoretically, we should see lap times come down, especially now with the sun completely gone. It's going to get a lot cooler. They all have fresh tires at this point. and everyone should have the fuel dialed in. For this series, we just allow 100% fuel tank. They don't need to get anywhere close to that. I mean, 100% tank, you probably could drive around this thing for 90 minutes to 2 hours and be fine. So they have to kind of do some quick maths and try to figure out how much fuel they actually need and what they feel comfortable risking. But in the qualifying session, they should be going out with a very light amount just to get the most out of that qualifying session, get the best time. Another fun fact with iRacing, if anyone at home is wondering how this works, fuel is burned not by RPMs but by your throttle position. So if you ever need to burn fuel, maybe you put too much in at the beginning of a race, whatever, you just want to kind of hold that throttle down, maybe in a higher gear, you can burn some more off. In this qualifying session, we shouldn't have any of those issues because they were able to put that in. Ooh, Seam, very aggressive. And he's coming around for his first hot lap. We should start to see some times come by relatively soon here. Obviously, the out lap's about 2 minutes long. The qualifying session is 10 minutes long, so we will see who comes out on top. As far as I can tell, everyone is out on track. They are. I know Tomas was... there was talk about him maybe potentially not doing qualifying, and I was just concerned because I looked over at Tomas's speed, which I can actually see in my timing screen, and he was -30, so I don't know what that means. But Seam putting in what seems to be a pretty good lap here. Such a tough corner. It really is a difficult one in these cars. You always feel like maybe you could get on a little bit faster, and then it just goes into a long, boring straight when you're by yourself. Kind of, pour yourself a cup of coffee, do whatever you need to do. And the braking point looks to be a little bit shy of the 50-meter mark. Coming around into that back section of the track. We don't have any split times, unfortunately, so I can't quite see. I can't quite see where he's at on his lap. Maybe that's a functionality that we can add, but we see Dirk taking the fastest lap of the 146.4, Derek Hartley. He is also the first one to finish a lap. But we are seeing the lap times come in. Dirk is holding on to that top spot. There's quite a few, actually. And we got Seam, who's going to be coming around now. And we got Rune now taking the top spot, the 45.9. And these are slower times, I believe. They were running 44s in the race, so I'm a little bit surprised that these times are, oh, look at the Seam. There you go. Taking the top spot at a 45.7. 45.8 for all intents and purposes. He's about 10th faster than Rune. Ryan Wilson coming in second there. Yeah, it's and that's going to be... That lap will not count. If you get a off track, it is done. Your lap is forfeit. You are awarded no points. So he will still be trying to hold on to that top spot. Let's see who has not come across yet. Tom Basley has put in his first lap at a 46 flat. Tomas is... This explains the laps that I saw. So I believe Tomas will be starting at the rear of the field and doing a last to first challenge, as it appears, which is interesting. I do like the smoke with the headlights. It looks nice. Let's check in. Who else do we have? Nils is actually qualifying this time around, so good for him. And this should actually be, I believe, his first lap. So let's take a look. Let's see what he does on his first out lap here. He seemed to have some pace, and he was finding it as we went. And he did a 152, which is... It's quite slow. Yeah, we see Seaman. He's in the pits. He knows that lap is void. We'll check in with Ryan Wilson. Sounds like he's maybe having issues with that shifting. Yeah, maybe, I don't know what that was about. Posse Mountain in third. So we're seeing some things shaking up here a little bit. Let's check in. Tom Basley, where's he at? Because we do expect to see him towards the front. And I believe He took second, yeah. So, I'm trying to see who else do we got on track that's still hot. Jeffrey Arroyan should be on. I kind of wish I had a lap counter here. He should be. Yeah, this is going to count. But right now, we still have Seam at the top with the fastest lap of a 1:45.7, so he is still our provisional pole. Tom Basley is finished qualifying. Ryan Wilson's, I mean, we're talking about thousandths or hundredths of a second here. And Tomas is likely still doing donuts. And it looks like Jeffrey is abandoning this lap as well. Jan Hudak, he looks like he's still pissing along here. Let's see. There's not many other drivers on track. Nico Bassoon is still out there. We'll check in with him quickly. He's coming down, I believe. This should be the front straight, so let's see where he ends up here. This will be his second and final lap. I'm sure he would like to move up a little bit at a 14th, and he does not manage to improve. We have Bjorn Flotter, who's also coming down with his second lap at a 1:47.6. It will not be good enough to improve. And I believe that is everyone. It looks that way. Jeffrey Ryan coming down the pit. Nico is still... I don't think he... I'm pretty sure you can continue to do laps if you so choose. And I believe he's just kind of getting in some more practice. We haven't seen Spencer Kemble do a lap. And we have Tomas still doing donuts. So, that being said, I don't want to say it's... Oh, Sam. Where did Sam Jordan just almost took pole? So now we have the top four within 5 thousandths of each other. Extremely close. And I believe... I don't want to throw the official standings up too soon. But I believe, if my count is correct, that everyone should have completed their qualifying at this point. And it's important to note, Seam actually only did one lap because the second was voided. So that's kind of some surprising pace out of him. And exciting, if I dare say so myself. But again, he's going to have, some very close drivers behind him. So at this point, I think we are safe to say that these are the qualifying results for our second race of the evening. So we have Seam Lug with pole position with a 1:45.795. Sam Jordan in second with a 1:45.819, and Tom Basley in third with a 1:45.838, with Ryan Wilson 1/100th. Yeah, 1/100th behind him. So it's a mouthful. Honestly, the top 7 are all within 0.2 of each other, with Jeffrey Arroyan with a 46 flat for all intents and purposes, with Michael surprisingly in 8th there. And we appear to have jumped over into the race session, so we lost that. But very interesting. Not without some shakeups. It's going to be fun to see how Seam handles being on pole. Rune was also a little bit down, and it is... I mean, we started at sunset. It is fully nighttime now. There is no question about it. So let's go to our starting grid. I mean, we have this cool graphic, right? So there's your top 8, and we will just go through. Again, Michael in 8th is very surprising to me. We saw that he was keeping up with Tom and Tomas last race, so we'll see what he does. He's still got some pretty quick drivers in front. Passy Malin, too, with a 5th place qualifying is extremely impressive. We saw that he lost the car early, I believe, last race. Tapped the wall, had some damage, and then was trying to salvage it from there. Then down you got Derek in 9th. And Hugh with a strong qualifying. I think last race he qualified 17th, and finished 7th. So shout out to him, going up about 10 positions last race. But 11th is not bad at all. Geary in 12th, who we saw have some issues last race. And then we're going to go down towards the bottom with Team in 21st. I'm not sure exactly what happened there. He's a driver we typically see more pace out of. And Tomas, obviously, is starting from the rear just to kind of have some excitement. So we'll see how that goes. And we also have Spencer, who failed to qualify. So, all things considered, it should be an interesting race. I believe we're going to see lights on in about 10 seconds. I think our blimp is probably our best bet to see what's happening. We can catch the most of the field, and we're going to have lights on. And we're off. So up at the front, see him getting away good. Oh, a little bit of side-by-side contact between Sam and Tom. Tom taking the outside of that. I think he's probably going to be able to make that work. Let's just quickly check down the field. Everyone seems to be in one piece. So we will just keep an eye on the front. This is very close. And we also see Ryan Wilson. He's going to make this a 3 wide. Oh, they are just jammed in. Rune sticking his nose up the inside of Ryan there. And I think he's actually maybe going to have a run. I think we just heard the remnants of something. It sounded like some kind of accident. It might have been Tomas. I think I saw Tomas off track, but I'm not entirely sure. We will go back and check once this battle up front slows down a little bit. But right now, Tom and Sam have just been battling hard for second place. And if anyone's excited about this, it should be Seam, who's just trying his best to get some separation between these guys. Get away from them, let them fight behind you. But once the dust settles there, it looks like Sam's going to have it, but Tom is not going to go down without a fight. We also see Posse running a little bit wide behind, but for the most part, it seems like we're relatively well collected throughout the field. There might have been some contact back there. We will have to go back and see. So I'm seeing from our stewarding teams, car number 24 and number 18 are under review for a collision. So I'm not entirely sure. Number 18 is Hugh Messenger, and number 24 is Nicholas. So we will see what our stewards come back with for that. But in the meantime, we still have these guys in the front fighting very closely. Who's that behind? I swear I just saw someone with no hood. Oh, Ryan Wilson running extremely wide. Rune getting way down, and he's going to be compromised. Rune's going to take that spot. Unfortunately, Ryan ran a little wide. He's also going to lose, I think, a second position potentially. Ooh! Rune getting in a little hot there. These guys they're pushing these cars. You can hear the tires are just absolutely screaming. But up at the front, did Sam get by Seam? Is this a 3-way drag race? It sure looks like we have a 3 wide for first place. Sam's on the inside, but Tom, I think... Oh, Sam's going to have to really get a good exit there because Tom's going to have the preferred line. And Tom takes the lead. I'm not entirely sure. We got caught up trying to catch what happened, but I think that Sam and Tom just had a much better run out. And these guys are extremely close. Let's try to see if we can... Try to find a good camera here. Oh, and Rune trying to catch up to Seam now. He's going to take the outside line there. This might be alright. Seam doing his best to hold that inside. Him and Rune side by side, but Rune's going to get it. Ooh, maybe not. Oh, Rune running extremely wide again. We've seen him do that all day. He's a filthy cheater. This is very close up front. Let's hop on board with Passy Mellon in here because he's got probably the best view of this. And we see Michael with the fastest lap of the race so far. And we just heard, I'm not sure if that was a crash behind. We're going to have to keep an eye on things. But we also have a penalty coming out for Nicholas Nasiabaka. He has a stop and go for causing a collision, but it also appears like he didn't change his pit stop options to not take. Oh no! Oh, Sam runs wide. There's too much happening at the front here. Let's hop on board with Michael here and let's see. Although I don't know, Michael, he might have a lot of people behind him too. This is madness. We see Sam lost at least 4 positions there, and it looks like he just lost a 5th to Ryan Wilson. He's still trying to hold it. We're going to stay in this live, this camera here, just kind of watching the middle, just to try to keep an eye on everything that's happening with this group. Sam Jordan is absolutely bleeding positions at this point. And obviously we saw him last race right up there with Rune. But now he's got Jeffrey Arroyon right behind him with Ryan Wilson in front. Tom Basley is holding on to the lead right now, but he has Rune draped all over him with Seam right behind them. He is staying right in this. But Rune really trying to make use of that slipstream, and this is going to be a long run here. Tom taking him down to the pit wall. We've seen this maneuver before. I think he learned this from his Brazilian teammate Oversteer. Make him work for it. Rune going to try to go on the outside. I don't think he's going to have enough to do that. Tom is going to have a good line. Rune's got to try to catch up Tomas with the fastest lap of the race. He is up to 9th position from starting from the rear, but Seam is actually keeping up right now really well and just watching Rune and Tom battle this out. And I think that's the right move. Oh, but Rune with an excellent exit, and he's going to have the inside line. Seam might try to get on board with him, and I think he will. Not going to let Tom get back in. Oh, this is very close. Tom had a much better exit than Rune, I believe. And they're going to be side by side down this backstretch. This is a fantastic race at the front. You could throw a blanket over all of these cars right in the lead here. The top 8, what is this? 4, 8 are extremely close, within a second of each other. Look at this move by Seam. Just taking the inside. Now he's going to make Rune pay. He's going to try to. No, he's not going to be able to. Rune just cannot find a way past Tom, and it's compromising him on every corner with Seam right behind him. And unfortunately, I think Sam showed us best what happens if you have one mistake when it's this close. And look at this move by Posse Mellon, just going up the inside. Not afraid to send it, but Seam's going to have the inside line on the next corner. And these guys are giving each other a surprising amount of room, if I'm being honest. I am a little bit shocked by this. We see them all come through that fast corner and down the front straight. We have 13 minutes of racing left, and this is incredibly close at the front. Maybe a little bit of contact there. I'm not sure what happened. It looks like Seam is off. There was some contact with those guys in the front, but I'm not entirely sure. They shuffled. Some people ran wide. Posse trying to close the door on Sam, but Sam just forcing his way through. He's back up in the 5th. Rune and Tom are just driving away from this, but this is just absolute carnage behind. These guys are all jockeying for position. If they try to make a move on the car in front, they could be potentially ruining themselves on position from the car behind. This is absolutely chaos. And we see Ryan Wilson trying to go on the outside of Michael. Michael's climbed his way back up into 3rd quietly. He's just been sitting in the middle of all this chaos, just gradually working his way out, letting other people make the decisions, and you just take what comes to you. And we see at the front, Rune is right on Tom. The rest of them are in line, all trying to use the slipstream to their advantage down into this corner. Michael wisely holding that defensive position on the inside. But look at how much of a slingshot Ryan had there. He just couldn't quite slow the car down enough. But he almost fully cleared Michael from the slipstream. And that's what we're talking about with these cars. The draft is so important on some of these long straights because they just aren't that powerful on their own. And these guys are really going to continue to capitalize, especially in a train of cars like that. It's just absolutely great stuff. I'm trying to keep an eye on the rest of the field, but it's just so hard to get away from this. But we'll try to, very briefly, because I believe and I was correct, there is quite the battle happening back here with Giri Wari Wasaya, Stuart Hayden, Henrik Lala, and I believe that's Jan Hudak in there too. I mean, these guys all over the track. We're just seeing 2 wide battles constantly, and that includes at the front. And they seem to have sorted. Geary trying his best. Tomas with the fastest lap of the race. Oh, maybe Geary getting into the back. I think he did. I think he got into the back of Bjorn there a little bit. He wasn't expecting him to be quite that slow. There's also, and there's just so much happening, another collision to look at between the number 16 of Pasi Melnin and the number 20 of Siim Lu. So there was some kind of incident that happened there between the two of them, and that was, I think, entering the start-finish straight. So we'll see what our stewarding team comes back with there. Meanwhile, Tom and Rune are starting to really get some separation from the last. And we also see the penalty come through. Pasi Melnin, I believe, yes, he has issued a stop-and-go penalty for the collision with the number 20 of Siim Lu. So we'll see him serving that, I would assume. I would think it's now, but I don't know if he... I don't know. It says it's a black flag. I would assume that's a stop and go, but I could be wrong. Meanwhile, look who joined the fight at the top. Tomas climbed his way all the way back from last and now is up into 6th place, which is, quite frankly, a little bit unbelievable that he just that he made his way through the entire field that quickly, especially through these top guys who were so close and battling so. But actually, you know, that might have had something to do with it. Everyone else battling, Tomas just kind of drove through. But that's pretty impressive stuff that he's already up into 5th. And we'll see if he can catch up to those the top two between Tom and Rune, who seem to be gaining some separation now 2 seconds ahead of the rest of the pack. But also important to note, Michael has really gotten himself back into 3rd place where he was last race before he was collected by Tomas crashing. So he's back into 3rd, about where we thought he would be. Maybe even has the pace to catch up with the rest of these guys. His best lap is actually 7/10 faster than Rune's. That might have something to do with the draft. It might have something to do with the fact that Rune's been pasted to the back of Tom's car the entire race. But this is actually going to continue to be very interesting at the top. We also see Siim. He's very close, working on Sam here. And Pasi has fallen back into 9th. I believe the black flag was just a slowdown penalty, but I'm not entirely sure. We'll have to get clarity from that with our stewards after, and we will also go back and take a look at that incident that caused that, because it was quite a drop for Siim, who was our pole sitter for this race. Meanwhile, Tom still trying to shake Rune off. Can't quite find a way to do it, but Rune also can't find a way to make the pass. There's 8 minutes left. They have built quite a nice lead, but it's important to note that there's that Black Star Miata of Tomas, who is about 4 seconds back, roughly. No, he's 7 seconds back. I'm not entirely sure that he's going to have enough time in this race to catch up. His lap times now appear to have stabilized with the rest of the field now that he's caught up, and Rune and Tom are putting in some of the best times with low 46s. Tomas with a 46.6 last lap, and Michael with a 46.7. So Tomas likely going to catch up to Michael, and that'll be an interesting battle to see how he handles that. But for the most part, I think Tom and Rune, barring an incident between the two of them, are going to be clear of Tomas catching up. But let's check in with the rest of the field and see. It looks like Stuart Hayden is still in a tight... This is still a very close battle between these guys in the mid-pack here. With Bjorn, Stewart, Will, and Spencer, I believe, behind them. And it might even be Hugh Messenger. It is. Hugh is involved in this as well. These guys are close. Oh, no, Hugh's a little bit back. Spencer, here we go. Let's hop on board with Stewart and see what he's making happen here, because this is pretty close. And again, it is completely nighttime now. This was a sunset start, and we burned through daylight during practice, and it's gone completely into a nighttime race. Oh, he's going to take the inside, I think. Got to get on the power early. Bjorn giving him lots of room. You can see his car's got quite a few scuff marks and maybe even a little bit of damage on it. But it looks like I would wager that he's going to probably take. And we also have Henrik in front with that McLaren livery who's got some damage. But look at this. Stewart trying to hang on. Giving each other lots of space. Fair driving. And I'll tell you, that actually that compromised Bjorn pretty rough with Will behind him now. Oh, and he runs wide. Keeps it together. Well done, but it looks like he's going to lose that position to Will now, who's going to take the inside, and I believe he does. So way to capitalize on that from Will. Bjorn falling further down with some damage, and now he's going to have Spencer Kemble right behind him. Let's check back in with the front of the field. We see Tomas working on Michael right now. Ooh, Tomas, don't do it. Don't do it again. And that was not the preferred line whatsoever. And Tomas still somehow managed to make that work. I'm not sure if Michael just... I'm curious to see if he's going to put up a fight here, and I kind of hope he does. I'd like to see... I'm very surprised that... I just can't believe that Tomas just made that pass from where he was. Because it seemed to me that he would have been extremely compromised. But now he is fully clear and is going to try to catch up. Let's hop on board with Michael here. And Tomas is going to cover the inside. He's giving Mike the respect he deserves. We'd like to see that. Yeah, just not going to be enough. And now he's going to... Oh. You know, I thought Tomas would have tried to hold the inside of that next one too, but he decided not to. It's pretty good awareness. And you see off in the distance there, Rune and Tom. Rune's still plastered to his bumper. And Tom is not giving any quarter. So, again, 3 through 7 here are extremely close. Ooh, someone's getting a little loose. Jeffrey? Or is that Ryan? I think that was Jeffrey. It was. Jeffrey got pretty loose. Seam gave him the space he deserved. A lot of these guys run in the Carl Snell Sport livery, so it's a little hard to tell who's who. Let's hop on board with Rune, and let's see if he can find a way past Tom, because we're getting down to crunch time here with just under 4 minutes left in this race. And Tom just unflinching. You know, that's always the thing with these guys at the top that always impresses me the most. Because I know that if I had Rune 2/10 off my bumper for the entire race, he 100% is going to force me into some kind of mistake. And, you know, Tom, Tomas, like Sam, these guys at the top that are really the best drivers that ACRL has, they just don't make the mistakes and they don't feel the pressure as much. And it really is a testament. That's a great exit by Rune. Meanwhile, we also have an incident between the number 20 car of Seam and the number 233 of Jeffrey. The stewards are ruling no further action, so that might have had something to do with what we saw with Jeffrey getting a little loose there and Seam waiting up for him. And it looks like Tomas, or Rune, Tomas, I'm just so used to it. Rune somehow making his way past, and Tom really getting into him there. Now this is going to be, we're going to go too wide here. Rune running extremely wide. And that's going to compromise his speed on exit. Absolutely. Oh, is that Tomas just bouncing off the wall behind too? I just caught it quickly out of the corner of my eye. I don't think Rune's going to be able to make this work on Tom. He's trying desperately just to keep some of his car in front. And they are still remaining too wide. Coming down into the final quarter. We have 2 minutes left in this race. We are getting down to crunch time. Giving plenty of space. Rune keeping one in there. No pit maneuver. Oh. Tom holding on. This is some hard-fought racing at the front. Absolutely incredible stuff here from these two. And apparently the number 20 and number 233 incident is back under review. I don't know how that works with our stewarding team, but it does. But we're gonna stay here with these two because this is, I believe we should be into white flag next lap. And Rune, it looks like Tom got a little loose there. They're going to be too wide. Tom taking that defensive position on the inside. He's going to have the preferred line into the straight, but it's all about the exit, really. Oh, that's close. They are door-to-door. They are absolutely door-to-door. That is some rubbing racing. And at this point, with the way these two are racing, it's starting to feel a little bit like it's going to be Checker or Wreckers because I think they're really pushing hard. And they also have Tomas, who's now only a second and a half behind. And if they keep this up, he can close that gap in a lap. If they have some kind of major incident between the two of them, which sends them both kind of, you know, sliding. Rune holding that inside. This is exactly what it was last lap. And Tom again, they're giving each other not a lot of space, but enough. Tom holding it nicely. He's going to stay in front. He had a much better exit there, and Tomas is getting ever closer. He's now a second behind. He might be closer than a second. He's going to try to send it on Rune. Oh, we are absolutely caught up. I'm not entirely sure how these split times work, but we're going to get on the cockpit with Tomas here. And this is great news for Tom, because this is absolutely going to get Rune off of him, because now he has to worry about Tomas, who's looking to send it in seemingly every corner at this point. And I got to tell you, Michael is right behind him too. It is very close still. And Tomas thinking about it. This is absolutely going to make Rune more defensive, and he's not going to be quite so able to attack Tom like he was. And keep in mind, Tomas did not qualify this race. Look at this. That's a little bit of extending the track, I would say. Oh. Tomas is just carrying so much more speed through that braking zone than Rune, and I think he's probably going to be able to do it here. Yeah. And this is the final lap of the race. Is he going to go for the 2-send? Tom's going to have to cover that off. You have to. Or Tomas is absolutely going to try to send that on you. But this is it, ladies and gents. This is the final lap of the race. Tomas is going to try to take the inside. Tom, he's got to cover it up. Oh. Tom's going to he has to cover the inside because Tomas will send it on him. Oh, there's contact. And Rune is absolutely just going to drive away with that. That is 100% going to be under review from the stewarding team. And I have to assume will be a penalty for Tomas. But very unfortunate. And Rune is going to come away with his second win of the night. Once again, thank you to Tomas for the second win for Rune. But Rune's going to take first place. Tomas is going to take second, and I believe that was a photo finish between Tomas and Michael at the back. And Tom Basley absolutely gutted with a fourth place finish that race. So that one will 100% be under review because it was the last lap. Obviously, we cannot do live incidents for that, but it will be looked at, and there will, I have to assume, very likely be some penalties issued post-race in the standings. But as far as the rest of the field goes, the results of the race. So we have Rune winning again, back-to-back tonight. He won both races off of Tomas in race 1, crashing Tom and Michael, and then in race 2, Tomas crashing Tom out of the lead. It was extremely exciting. You hate to see it end that way. But Michael getting a third-place finish. So there's your podium between those three. But again, definitely will be under review by the stewarding team, and I have to assume there will be some issues that they will sort out post-race. Sam Jordan finishing 5th, Ryan Wilson 6th, Jeffrey O'Royan in 7th, Seam in 8th, and Geary sneaking into the top 10 in 9th place with Matt Taylor in 10th, Derek Hartley 11th, and Stuart Hayden in 12th. And then you have the rest of your field. I believe that there was some incidents early on that we wanted to try to check and see if we could do. If we can just go back and see, and I kind of would like to actually go back and see the incident between Tomas at the end. Let's see if we can't find that. Let's see. It was between Tomas and Tom. Let's see the others. I wonder if I would be shocked if they did not issue a 4X for that. But let's see. What? Boy, this just does not want to work. Yeah, this is I don't know. We're having some issues with the events thing in this program. It just does not seem to want to work quite right. Why is it not jumping to that person? I don't understand. Tom Basley, right? That's who we want. Oh, fuck's sake. Yeah, it's I don't know. This program, this might need to be looked at. I don't know. It does. It doesn't want to go and look at them. So anyway, we'll call it there. Again, this wasn't without some drama, as is accustomed for us. But there, again, I have to assume will be some issues post race that they are going to look at with the stewarding team. They may be issued to the standings. We have to kind of see what we can do about that, depending on their findings. But all things considered, the first race, first weekend here in iRacing, not so bad. Some pretty good racing there. Tight racing is what we expected. The next race is on September 8th, and that is at Charlotte Roval. That's going to be all night races. The Roval is a very entertaining track on these cars. Very, very little room off track. It's just concrete walls. There's fast chicanes. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to see quite a few sends, I would think, and I'm sure the stewards are going to have their hands full. But outside of that, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. We know that there's some hiccups to this, but we're working through it. It will get better as the season goes on, as we kind of figure out how this stuff works. And we hope that everyone has a good time and continues to keep coming out for these races. And we will see you September 8th at Charlotte Roval. Take care.